Our ability to launch national tours at Shea's is due to our great reputation as a theater city and to the extraordinary efforts of many people who saved our theater from the wrecking ball and lovingly restored it to its original 1925 splendor and have made this a palace to live for generations. Thank you for joining us as we launch the national tour of the Broadway hit On Your Feet, and as we honor an extraordinary couple.
Particularly and selfishly proud to be associated with this as well. Gloria and Emilio and I go way, way back. And I have been involved with the tour as one of the show as one of the producers in New York. And I'm thrilled that we were able to find its way here to Buffalo, to launch it, to host them here in the community, to have Emilio and Gloria walking around our streets, eating in our restaurants, introducing themselves to people and being so comfortable in our city and your city. It's exciting. It's very exciting. And so is this wonderful, beautiful show.
This 80-city tour is starting right here in the city of Buffalo. I want to welcome all of the cast of On Your Feet, and we have the actual Broadway cast. Much of the folks that were on Broadway right here in the city of Buffalo, and certainly want to welcome the legendary Emilio and Gloria Estefan to our city.
You know, we're living through some really rough times in many places. Our home state of Florida was devastated by Hurricane Irma. We have, of course, Houston and Texas had suffered so much from another hurricane, and now Puerto Rico and Mexico are experiencing some very tough times. So I want to take this opportunity to send prayers and good thoughts, or however it is that you become a part of the collective that we all are, and send them strength and hope. And I think that's what's beautiful about what entertainment does. We help people get through tough times. You know, we try to boost spirits and, you know, get their minds off of the things that happen in life every day. With us, it's sharing our story of how we kind of got back on our feet and have repeatedly done it throughout our lives from the moment that we left our native Cuba. I was a baby. I was 2.5 years old. Emilio was a little older. He went through Spain and then here. But we live the American dream. We want to share that story because it's very important, particularly now, to refresh and renew the beauty that is America and the opportunities that it offers to everyone, particularly during Hispanic Heritage Month. Well, I'll let the Spanish for him because then he says I never leave him anything to say. Let me not step on his thing.
That's the reason we've been married for 40 years.
But anyway, I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank this amazing cast that has performed on Broadway. So they're coming to you direct from Broadway. My band, 7 of my members of Miami Sound Machine are in the show, and we're on Broadway and are here, so the sound is as legit as you're going to get. Miami Sound Machine is definitely on that stage every night, and Christy is doing a phenomenal job with her portrayal, and Mauricio as well, each bringing their own, heart and soul and inspiration to the part. And we're beyond thrilled, beyond excited to be here in Buffalo. I've been here many times with my tours, and now it's such a beautiful thing to begin this tour here once again in your beautiful Buffalo.
But I'm going to tell you something. One of the things that I love, Albert, believe in us all the way from the beginning. He was our promoter. I love that he's doing this now and he's promoting our show because, you have to be loyal to the people. We have the same musicians that's been with us almost for over 35 years. But you know something? It's a fantastic thing to be able to come here and work with people that believe all the way from the beginning. So Albert, thank you so much for the support. We're extremely happy. I think we're going to bring something a little bit different. I always say this story is not about the Latinos. This is about minorities, people that have dreams. And we live in a country that have that opportunity, and we can say that over and over because we live in incredible countries.
Well, I sing since I can talk, so by the age of 2, it came with me. I have a very musical family, both on my dad's and, as you will see in the show, on my mother's side, that is people don't know about. You're going to find out a lot of things that you did not know about us and about me. Music was my escape. It was my catharsis. It was my way of getting through some very tough times. My dad was a prisoner in the Bay of Pigs invasion in Cuba. Then he came back and joined the U.S. Army and went to Vietnam and came back with Agent Orange poisoning. So I cared for him during my teenage years up until he had to be hospitalized because he was too ill when I was about 20 years old. And music was what I would do. I would lock myself up in my room. I would sing. The tears would come because I wanted to be very strong for my mom. And I didn't want her to see, you know, the cracks in the armor. So music was my way of emoting other people's music. For that reason, I have such a deep respect for anything that goes out into the universe and into other people's ears. I think very carefully what kind of music we've put out. We always try to be inspirational in some way because that's what music was for us. That's why songs like Coming Out of the Dark, that came as a big thank you to all my fans that sent so many prayers my way after an accident 27 years ago. It's amazing that it was that long ago. I was in New York going to Syracuse, and you know because you were the promoter for that gig. And I owe you one there. I owe you a few. Hopefully this will
I think so.
do it in some way. But music has been a healing force. And after the accident, Emilio kind of nudged me. He had written the words Coming Out of the Dark on a piece of paper when I was being transported from Scranton to New York after the accident because it was a gray day and he kept getting hit in the eye by a ray of light. And all he could imagine was, when are we going to come out of this darkness? And he wrote it on a piece of paper. 3 months after my accident, he fished out trying to look for a quarter to pay a toll. He found this washed piece of paper with those words, and he thought that that was a great opportunity for me to get back at music, which had been so healing for me. So he asked me if I would go to the studio with him. It was my first outing outside of my home. And I did it for him because he'd been locked away with me for 3 months, helping me stand up, sit down, bathing me, you know, being the best partner that you could have ever at a moment like that and through life, as we have shared. And it was, I sat there and in 15 minutes we wrote that song. It was a big thank you to all the people that, every one of you that sent prayers my way were a part of my recuperation, and it's in our music. Songs like Get On Your Feet, which are meant to make you feel like you can, you know, start over and do things and power through all the difficulties that get thrown our way. So yes, music to me is our life. And he had a band in Cuba when he was 8 years old. If you want to add something.
I just want to tell you that, you know, music definitely, when I left Cuba, I left with my dad, and I was separated from my family almost 15 years. And I was a very poor kid that couldn't be able to go to school to learn music. And when I went to high school, I told the professor, I want to learn music. This is what makes me happy. The guy said, you're too old to learn music. To tell you that, you know, life, nothing is impossible, because I won 19 Grammys. So, you know, something, when you like something and something that you love, I was lucky enough that I did what I love, and, you know, and we've done a lot of music through the years.